And Waddle goes for goal! What a start for Sheffield Wednesday!
The end of the most arduous season in the long and distinguished history of Sheffield Wednesday Football Club. The scene, Wembley Stadium, and the Owls have failed by a whisker to win the FA Cup after a replay. The fans salute the players salute the fans. Both have played their part in a season that promised everything and delivered, well, everything but the silverware. The record books will show Wednesday beaten finalists in 2 cups, 7th in the Premier League. But those statistics will hide the pride, the passion and the memories of the 1992 soccer season. It seems an age since Wednesday began the season back at Everton in August. The Owls paraded their new away strip and new signing Chris Waddle, bought for £1 million by Trevor Francis from Marseille. And nobody then, of course, could have guessed at what was to lie ahead during the next 10 months. Nigel Pearson put Wednesday in front, thanks to a slip by Neville Southall. It was to be Pearson's only goal of the season. Forest were the first visitors to Hillsborough, with David Hirst off to a flying start in front of the home faithful, and giving an early indication that he was certainly ready for an England call-up, scoring both goals. It was Chelsea next, and the Owls threw away a 2-goal lead, but Hirst again bagged a pair.
Palmer comes near post, chance at the far, and no, yes, it's been given. No offside from a throw-in, of course, and here's a chance, oh, penalty. The Chelsea players claiming he played the ball, and Hirst has the chance to make it 2-0. And does. 38 minutes.
But then Chelsea produced one of the best goals of the season.
And Graham Stewart's got some space on that side. Flex to his left, Mick Harford to his right. Stewart's carried the ball an awful long way and he's through. What a magnificent run and a fabulous goal. You won't see too many better than that this season in the Premier League. Oh, well played by Francis.
It was left to Danny Wilson to save Wednesday's blushes.
Oh, and it's got in by Danny Wilson. The substitute got it.
3-3, a cracking match, if not championship form.
Over it comes, Nigel Martin calls, but drops the ball.
A Paul Williams goal at Palace earned another away draw, and that set up the first of 5 encounters against Arsenal.
Kept it in play, right. Oh, Merson missed his kick. Parler gets there. Arsenal have scored. Right. Merson. Oh, great goal, Merson. Warhurst. Oh, again, the tackle came in from behind on David Hirst, and they've got to be penalised. That was a terrible tackle from behind on the Wednesday number 9.
Well, that Steve Bold tackle broke a bone in Hirst's ankle. It didn't stop him scoring in the game, but it was to be the first of numerous injury breaks for Wednesday during the season. Hirst was then sorely missed in successive home defeats for Wednesday. Beginning with Coventry City's visit, where Peter Undlove, the Zimbabwean, scored with a spectacular diving header. Lee Hirst then put Coventry 2 ahead, and the only consolation for Trevor Francis' side came when Chris Waddle, not for the first or last time in the season, set up a goal for the teenager Chris Williams. But the final score was Wednesday 1, Coventry 2. And now against Manchester City, a woeful performance, and again a failure to take chances. A bizarre goal for City to begin with, springing from a doubtful interpretation of the new back-pass rule. And it sent Wednesday crashing to their 3rd defeat in a row. The referee had ruled there that Roland Nielsen passed back to Chris Woods. Many felt the ball had cannoned off the defender's legs. David White struck the ball home from the free kick. 2 more City goals in the second half left Wednesday humiliated and languishing near the foot of the table. Trevor Francis responded by signing Mark Bright from Palace in return for cash plus Paul Williams. The manager wanted 20 goals a season from his new striker.
Now, if you wanting to be successful, it's imperative that you look to your two strikers to get as near as they possibly can to scoring 40 goals a season. And I felt that with David Hirst and Paul Williams, we couldn't achieve that.
Bright made his debut in the away match at Forest, but it was another striker who caught the eye, converted defender Paul Warhurst, who was to become the striking phenomenon of the season. Warhurst scored the first goal, extraordinary for a man who'd got only 2 in his entire career before that. Graham Hyde completed the double over Forest, who were on their way down and out as it turned of the Premier League. Next came a 1-0 defeat against Norwich City at Carrow Road. And this brought Spurs to Hillsborough, the first visit of the Sky cameras, and they recorded a convincing Wednesday victory against a very young-looking Spurs outfit.
There's a feeling that there's a spirit in the club, they'll need it here. Bright, oh, he's lucky, and he scored!
Well, you're right, Martin, he was very lucky, but didn't he take advantage of his luck very, very well?
Yes. Bart Williams taking up a great position here. Watson! Corner to Sheffield Wednesday. Yes! Viv Anderson! A set piece supreme! Right. Now Watson this time well saved by Walker.
Mark Bright's got the knockdown for the run, and he picks his spot beautifully. That's a great save from the young goalkeeper.
There followed a frantic period of 8 matches in October, an indication of the punishing schedule of a team fighting on all fronts.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are the best. Home and away, we're gonna say they are better than the rest. On Thursday and Friday, you're gonna hear the call that when Saturday comes, it's Wednesday for us all.
It was a busy autumn in Europe too, with Wednesday thrashing the part-timers Spora Luxembourg 8-1 in the UEFA Cup.
Waddle, real danger to Spora now. Chris Waddle's shot, goal number 1. Waddle's cross might create more problems. Viv Anderson, 2-1.
And now Francis, the little loop ball in. Anderson might have another one. He has. 2 for Viv Anderson. Here's Warhurst now. Can Warhurst get a goal? He's got on. He has. A cracker as well. And Bart Williams. It's a beauty. Oh, Francis. Oh, he's played Worthington in. They're looking for his 7th this time, and Warhurst has done it. Warhurst scored 2, but was knocked unconscious heading in the second. His form later in the season, though, was ample proof that his recovery was 100%. The Owls went to Luxembourg with the tie in the bag and a chance to blood youngsters like Julian Watts, the former Rotherham defender, and striker Michael Williams. Serious stuff for these lads, but for the eldest statesman, training seemed a little more light-hearted.
That's the technique that Nigel Wellington is doing here. He's stretching the elbow on the outside of the calf, okay, which we want to do at home. Let's not try to quit now at home, Barney. Let's give him 10. Trying to say, mate, touch me toes. Birmingham Station.
Circulation.
This is what's called cheating. Don't do any running that you don't have to.
Over 2,000 fans made the trip, and Tango laid out the welcome flag for the Owls. The tie had already been settled, of course, but it was an opportunity for younger players to make their mark in Europe for the first time. Among them, former Charlton striker Gordon Watson. He bagged the first one. 9-1 on aggregate. And Paul Warhurst proved he'd made a total recovery after the first leg, with his first on the night and third of the overall match. A satisfying scoreline, but in all a rather flat excursion into Europe. That certainly wasn't the case in the second round, which paired Wednesday with the German team Kaiserslautern. The team was in good voice.
I never found anyone to fulfill my dreams.
The Wednesday contingent found one of the most compact grounds in Europe. Their first job to sort out tickets with Chairman Dave Richards and Secretary Graham McCrell.
We've got 100 seats at the front, over there, and the front 3 rows, and that there, and we've got some odd seats just over in the over here. You know, that's just like the comps, you know. Big stadium. It is, big stadium.
Then, no doubt with the seating of the Kop in mind, the chairman tested the facilities. The players arrived for a first look at the stadium, soon to become a cauldron of emotion. For Trevor Francis, a chance to remember a famous night when he was a European Cup winner. That was in Munich, of course. Not that far away. It's going to be a great experience for players young and old. And this fancy trap is from Graham Hyde, which brings a round of applause from the players and typically exuberant reaction from Chris Bart-Williams. The spirit's obviously good. And watch out now for Paul Warhurst, about to attempt to break the camera. I'm sure that's him.
Natürlich abzuwarten, liebe Zuschauer.
If Luxembourg had been low-key, Kaiserslautern was to be explosively charged. Flares on the terraces, and the match was to encapsulate the highs and the lows of a season in the space of 90 minutes. David Hurst got on the end of a perfect Chris Waddle cross to give the Owls a sensational start.
Und hier gleich die erste Situation. Tor für Sheffield Wednesday, wie aus einem heiteren Himmel. Das 1:0 für die Engländer gespielt.
Only 4 minutes had been played, and Wednesday couldn't have asked for a better start. It really should have stunned the Germans. But instead, almost immediately, Viv Anderson was adjudged to have fouled the striker Viticek, and the referee gave the penalty. A seemingly harsh decision. But it enabled Funkel to step forward and equalise the tie. 5 minutes gone, 1-1 the score. And then the tie turned on the sending off of David Hurst in really controversial circumstances. Contact had certainly been made, but the German made a meal of it, as the replays proved. The French referee, Monsieur Quiniou, saw fit to send Hurst off, much to the disgust of the Sheffield Wednesday fans and naturally the player himself. From then on it was all downhill, Wednesday were beaten by 3-1 and left themselves with a lot to do 2 weeks later at Hillsborough. Sheffield Wednesday and Kaiserslautern take to the Hillsborough stage. A mixture of cheers and boos. Wednesday's fans responding to a plea for them to create an intimidating atmosphere for the Germans. A taste of their own medicine, perhaps. The German crowd was almost frenzied a fortnight ago. There's no less passion at Hillsborough this evening. Referee waves play on. Watson takes it and controls it neatly. Men coming up in support. Here's a chance for John Sheridan, and it's gone 2 or 3 feet wide with the aid of a deflection. A thunderous start from Sheffield Wednesday. Hotic might feed his man in here, and Schaefer can create a big problem for Wednesday. Off the upright, and what a let-off for Sheffield Wednesday. Wednesday have got 6 men inside the penalty area. One might be enough, and here's a goal! Danny Wilson! Just what Wednesday needed. The arms are in the air, they're punching the air. And it's one of the most experienced men on the pitch who's got Wednesday's priceless goal. Now when it is played, Pearson's got a dangerous job on against Vitacek. Anderson's come across, Vitacek goes on, this could be a killer blow for Wednesday. And Vitacek has scored for Kaiserslautern. It's going to be Sheridan, he'll lift it over, scores! Right on cue, just what was needed for Wednesday. Sheridan's first of the season. Brilliant free kick, this one. It's a curler. There's nothing Slayer can do about that. The tie was killed once and for all when the Owls' defence allowed substitute Zaya to track right across their penalty area and score with a long-range shot. 2-2 on the night and a 5-3 defeat on aggregate. But valuable lessons had been learned in the European excursion. Trevor Francis knew his team's limitations, and they had a quick and perfect opportunity to erase the disappointment in the following Sunday's derby at Bramall Lane.
And United lose the ball straight from the kickoff to a very eager Mark Bright. Here's Hurst for Waddle, for David Hurst. Oh, that's brilliant!
Oh, what a straight one. What an absolute top draw straight from a top striker. We talk about your first touch being important in football, and David Hurst gives a superb example of that.
Well, he calls himself the nearest thing to a locally born player that Sheffield Wednesday have got, and you see the delirium at the end of this.
Look at that, a great little 1-2. His first touch sets it up. Watch this. There he goes. Here's it followed. Waddle waits the pass. 1, 2. That's great striking. Anybody's language.
United were getting closer and closer to 3 in a row, but Warhurst has got the better of Gale. Here's Bright. Oh, he's slid it wide.
The scoreline was the same in the next match at home to Ipswich. Wednesday's goal courtesy of opponent Neil Thompson. A last-minute penalty awarded for alleged handball by John Sheridan deprived the Owls of 2 points in their third 1-1 draw on the trot against Wimbledon. Despite the protest, the referee was adamant. Penalty it was, said Mr. Milford. So up stepped old blade Vinnie Jones to put the spot kick away. Worse was to follow. High flyers Aston Villa took the points as Wednesday suffered at the hands of former striker Dalian Atkinson.
There's the cross, Richardson's in with Warhurst. Oh, and that came back, and it's in! From Dalian Atkinson against his old club, and what a good strike. That makes it 9 in his last 14 games, and look at the way he hit that. Palmer makes a forward run, this is Hurst. Waddle goes again. Oh, Bright! It's 1-1, and Waddle made it possible. Oh, it's Atkinson, he fooled Anderson. What a goal! What a goal by Dalian Atkinson.
The 2-1 defeat and not much confidence to take to the champions at Ellen Road. A misunderstanding between Pearson and Woods triggered a 3-1 defeat. Gary Speed nipped in to score there. Roland Nielsen's equaliser wasn't enough to hold off Leeds. For Wednesday, another defeat. The Owls were slipping worryingly down the table. In fact, for the first time that anybody could remember, Wednesday were below Sheffield United, 6th from bottom. Christmas, though, was only just around the corner.
Ho, 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 ho.
A crowd of nearly 38,000 full of Yuletide spirit braved the cold on Boxing Day for the visit of Manchester United. They were treated to a pre-match virtuoso performance from Aussie Owl and the game of the season. A Christmas cracker. Wednesday 3-0 up, happy in the end to settle for 3-3. A master blaster from David Hurst on the hour at the Dell helped Wednesday secure an important victory. And who would guess that this would be the start of something big? 7 consecutive league wins, a record for the Premier League. It really is amazing what a few wins can do. Wednesday zoomed to 4th place in the Premier League and were outsiders for the title. A word here for Paul Warhurst, who became the first Wednesday player in modern times to score in 7 consecutive games. His magical form extended to the cup competitions too, with the Owls blazing through the early stages of the Coca-Cola and FA Cup. The road to Wembley began at home to Hartlepool. An injury-hit Wednesday side had no trouble overcoming the 2nd Division team though. The first goal of the season there for Gordon Watson, and a first 2 for Mark Bright. Wednesday were coasting it, and it was left to Danny Wilson to add the 3rd, although the final scoreline 3-0 was a trifle flattering. A magnificent 7 against Leicester City gave early hope of another Wembley appearance in the Coca-Cola Cup. In the FA Cup, Mick Heathcote gave the Owls an early scare when he put Cambridge United ahead at the Abbey Stadium. But it took Wednesday only 5 minutes to conjure up the equaliser. The first goal of the season too for the popular American John Harkes. That calmed the nerves if there had been any. Remember, Wednesday lost at Cambridge 4-0 during Ron Atkinson's time at Hillsborough. And Wednesday were to go on to win the tie. A Waddle pass. And Nielsen cross. Mark Bright at the near post. The Owls left it to the last minute to clinch a 5th round place when Sunderland's Tony Norman obligingly dropped a Nigel Worthington cross into the path of that man Bright again. After destroying Queen's Park Rangers 4-0 at Hillsborough, Wednesday faced their toughest tie yet. This against Ipswich Town at Portman Road.
Hard one down the right-hand side to Warhurst. This is looking good for Sheffield Wednesday as Hart goes to the near post, and there's a goal there, driven in by John Sheridan.
David Hurst could have put the issue beyond doubt, but he ripped a thigh muscle attempting to score Wednesday's 2nd.
It's a good spell by Ipswich, but now it's the break by Sheffield Wednesday. Hurst against Walker, and Hurst is too quick. Hurst with a chance at the second. Bright is square, and he misses. What a terrible miss by David Hurst, because Mark Bright was completely free on his right-hand side.
Well, that's the danger for Ipswich Town. They hit the post earlier. This was miss a great save, and here we see at the other end Hurst showing his incredible pace to get by Johnny Wall. He goes in, he's got all the time in the world. Bright's making a 5-minute run alongside him, and he puts it wide.
Got 8 minutes of the game left, and it's still Sheffield Wednesday leading by that 1 goal. Good aerial power there by Pearson. But here's Gwenchef with a chance, and down he goes, and this time it is a penalty. Well, that looked more innocuous than the other ones, but the referee points to the spot after Shirtley had knocked into him.
Well, if you're an Ipswich Town supporter, 1 out of 3 at this present moment isn't too bad. As you say, that's probably the most innocuous of the evening, but none of the Ipswich Town supporters are going to argue with that decision.
Steve Whitten to put Ipswich Town level in this quarter-final. He's done it. A pressure kick there
fair result in the end, and so to Hillsborough for the replay 10 days later. Clark Williams, this chance to play it in maybe. Nielsen turning, whipping it through. Warhurst, it needs a touch. Warhurst scores for Wednesday. Just the early goal, the second half demanded to light this tie. Lovely ball through from Nielsen. Warhurst clipped it past Baker with all the composure of a regular goal scorer. Warhurst 7th of the season, and again the gamble to play him up front has paid off. 1-0 Wednesday for Warhurst. It's going to be Sheffield Wednesday against Blackburn Rovers in the semi-final of the Coca-Cola Cup. Delight for Trevor Francis there, and totally justified in his selection of Paul Warhurst in attack. Warhurst's goal in the early minutes of the second half separates the sides and knocks out Ipswich Town at the second attempt. It's Sheffield Wednesday 1, Ipswich Town 0, and Sheffield Wednesday take another step on the road which led to them winning this competition 2 years ago. In the first leg of the semi-final at Ewood Park, Wednesday produced the most magical spell of football all season. Mind you, things didn't start particularly well.
A great run here. Wegley's done really well to escape the defender. It's a brilliant finish, and Roy Wegley joins in the celebration for the goal. Nielsen goes forward and gets the return ball. And the cross pulled back dangerously for Bart Williams. And it's a goal, it's the equalising goal. Parks has done it.
I thought for a minute that Bart Williams was going to have a shot there. Lovely 1-2. Pull back here, nicely pulled back. I thought he was going to have a shot here, but he just clipped it back across. And there he was, Harks coming in. Nice goal. Good equaliser. And I think deserved. Nobody deserved to be in front at this stage of the game here. But it's nice to have a couple of goals.
This is Bart Williams putting it back for Sheridan. Sheridan onto the return ball. It's Sheridan with a lovely little flick. It's in, and they've turned a 1-goal deficit into a 2-1 lead after only 20 minutes.
Well, I told you that Anderson is a little bit out of sorts, and he's not doing what he should be doing, which is closing the man in front of him down. And they're allowing little 1-2s to happen like this. And he's not picked up like he should have done there. You see, and it's a little flick into the side net by John Sheridan. One of my players, incidentally, who plays for the Republic of Ireland. Very good player. Great passer to the ball. Also scores once at 1 or 2.
Oh, Warhurst doing well here. And he's only got one defender to beat it. It's a splendid finish. Paul Warhurst has made it 3 for Sheffield Wednesday.
You see, you've got it again here. Colin Hendry left on his own. No one's gone to the man. He's now left on his own with nobody behind him, nobody picking up. And a player running at him with the ball. It's devastating for centre-backs that they don't know whether to tackle, whether to drop off, whether to go with the player.
Nielsen finding Watt. And again, the outside of the left foot to Bart Williams. The accuracy he produces with that most difficult skill. And in it goes to Warhurst. It's another goal. This is turning into one of the stories of the season. Warhurst 2nd, Wednesday's 4th. Blackburn look a shambles at the back.
See, a lot of it, Henry doesn't know what to do. He's a good player, Colin Hendry, but he doesn't know what to do.
4-2 on the night and a healthy lead to take back to Hillsborough. But despite their surge in the Coca-Cola Cup, the Owls hadn't taken their eyes off that other piece of famous silverware, the FA Cup. In attempting to make it into the last 8, they first had to push Southend out of the way. That task complete, it was off to Derby County.
That was bright. This is Warhurst. It's going to come to Chris Waddle. Warhurst again. Oh, and a penalty.
The Owls couldn't have asked for a better start in the intimidating atmosphere of the baseball ground. Mark Bright brought down inside the box, and referee Gerald Ashby from Worcester said it was a penalty. It was to set up a cup quarter-final that the fans would be talking about for years. A classic, in fact, a nail-biter, 6 goals, but that was not all. It was a match totally full of incident.
It's going to be Sheridan with the kick. Scores right up in the corner, although, to be fair to Martin Taylor, he went the right way. And Sheffield Wednesday have the lead here in the 6th round. So it's a free kick to Derby, and they'll be wanting to make something of this, because up to now Woods has been virtually untroubled. This is cool, and now it's Nicholson who's got a good left foot. Oh, it's in! Nicholson has hit the bar, and it went in on Chris Woods. Shane Nicholson has sent the baseball ground into ecstasy here. Gabbiadini blocks from Palmer. Waddle, Warhurst going through the middle, and this is Warhurst for Wednesday, and it's 2-1, and the goal taken by Warhurst, this converted centre-back who's been one of the sensations of the season, but made by Chris Waddle. It was so quick, if you blinked you'd have missed the pass, and frankly the Derby defence did. Kitson. Oh, it's Gabbiadini, he's got away from Palmer. Oh, what a good finish. It's 2-2, and Gabbiadini scores a brilliant goal. And Gabbiadini, Johnson, Pembridge is following up here. Oh, it's Pembridge, and he's got Nicholson outside him. Nicholson's cross, Kitson! Yes! Derby are in front. Hyde. It's a great position for Derby that went begging there. Waddle instead for Wednesday. Looks for Jemson. Oh, Warhurst! And it's 3-3. And Warhurst gets his second, and Derby hang their heads. And really, they threw that away by not making the most of an opportunity at the other end that would have possibly given them a chance for 4-2. And you can't take liberties with the Premier League teams like this. Jemson crosses, pulled back beautifully. Warhurst an assured finish. And it's a replay on Wednesday week at Hillsborough. 2 goals by Warhurst for Sheffield Wednesday. If there's been a better cup tie than that this season, I don't think I was there.
Terrific atmosphere here as Sheffield Wednesday, before a crowd of over 30,000, will get this second leg of the Coca-Cola Cup semi-final underway.
The stage then was set for a period of some of the most dramatic few days in Hillsborough's history. Thousands of Owls fans and ITV cameras witnessed a jittery performance from Wednesday, perhaps overconfident with such an emphatic advantage already secured.
Great break being made from the back again by Wilcox, but Nielsen spotted the danger. Really covered a lot of ground there, Wilcox, and that was the strangest. Oh my word, that could have been one of the own goals of the season. Crosses in towards Ripley, took it well on the chest. Good skill there by Ripley, and finally the shot came in, and it's a goal. Patrick Anderson. The hero of Hillsborough might well have scored their most important goal of the season.
Mark Bright scored as well to make it 2-1 on the day, and the final whistle meant Wednesday were going to Wembley for the second time in 3 seasons, and didn't everyone love it?
I've been there before and been a loser, so you promise yourself if you get another opportunity, you know you'll go back there and win. So hopefully this time I'll be a winner.
To the outside world, it means that we're a club that's a big club and can continually do it. We're not just a one-year wonder now.
Three days later, and not only the prospect of a Wembley double, but the first ever All-Sheffield FA Cup semi-final. The only thing that stood in the way was Derby County.
Forward by Waddle twice in that attack. Warhurst closing in here. Oh, good touch! Brilliant! Warhurst! He's there again! Well, it's number 17 for Warhurst. And the sign of a good striker. A converted one, maybe. But when you miss a chance, don't let it get to you. And here, Waddle plays the first ball through. And the second ball catches out short, and Warhurst got a foot to it as Martin Taylor came out. It was Sheridan who played a brilliant ball to him. Here he is, number 11. That's a great ball in by Sheridan. But look at the goalkeeper. He's made up his mind to come, and he's beaten by a superb piece of opportunism. He's got Danny Wilson supporting him here. There's a run on the left from Nigel Worthington, who's fallen over. And there it is. A roar goes up around Hillsborough. We have an all-Sheffield semi-final in the FA Cup, and Warhurst is the hero again. What a few days here in South Yorkshire. They just can't believe it round the ground. Not forgetting their neighbours Sheffield United's success the night before, the city of Sheffield has never seen days like this. Not even in 100 years of football. It's quite extraordinary. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Derby County 0.
The pundits called it the Steel City Showdown, and the whole of Sheffield had joined a campaign to get the match switched to Wembley instead of the originally planned venue of Elland Road. Common sense prevailed, and on a memorable Saturday in April, Sheffield saw its biggest evacuation since the war. Outside the stadium, the Wednesday players were greeted by a blue and white barrage of flags and balloons. There was hardly a red in sight. 80,000 fans filled Wembley in a carnival atmosphere that did great credit to football and the city of Sheffield. The Owls fans sang their hearts out.
Well, it may not be the FA Cup final, but what a welcome. This unique occasion about to unfold. The appeal not simply because of the great divide in the city of Sheffield, though that in itself is enormous, but these two sides so different in style. Wednesday with more players of pedigree. Sheffield's semi-final here at Wembley by public demand. Who are going to be the stars in the stripes? Dean, Carr, Alan Cork launching himself.
Well, the one thing they'll all want to do early is get a touch of the ball. That's a certainty, especially the United players that haven't been here. Mark Neal will want to get a little pass, get a little touch, a little bit of control, anything, just to make them feel that they're finally here.
Mark Wright keeping his place. He's certainly the fittest of the three options in attack for Trevor Francis. Warhurst just feeling his way back after his recent groin problem. David Hurst has had that thigh strain for a couple of months now and is still not in full working order, which is why he's being held in reserve on the bench. Steve Anderson has come forward. John Hart's the number 5, making a run across the face of the area. And Waddle goes for goal! What a start for Sheffield Wednesday! Well, you think back to the semi-final here in Paul Gascoigne. Today it's Chris Waddle.
Well, I said it was important that they limited his contribution, but in all honesty, there's not an awful lot that any of the outfield players could have done about that free kick. Tremendous pace, tremendous bend. I don't know if Alan Kelly was slightly unsighted, but it couldn't have been nearer his left-hand post.
Forward from Nielsen to Waddle. United back off Waddle, opts to play it in and use Warhurst's pace. Explosive pace it is! Oh! Here he is again, it's Waddle! Wow, how close was that to nestling in the same corner of the net. Warhurst goes through a run on here. Pemberton is quick as well, but he can't stop the shot coming in against the post, and it flew out to Bright, who couldn't deal with it because it came at such speed. Cork is onside against Woods. Cork has rolled it past the goalkeeper and in! Sheffield United are level. Curved forward by Waddle. Warhurst first time, what a strike for Waddle. And here come Wednesday with Bright. Hurst tearing into the centre, Sheridan is there as well, it's Hurst! Well, he hit it well enough. With Worthington, Bright going to the near post, oh, it's a tap-in, no! Kelly has kept it out from Hurst this time. Sheridan. Bright and Alan Kelly. Viv Anderson jumping. Hurst. Oh, Bright is offside. It's no goal. It's no goal. Really, at times and for long periods, has been Sheffield Wednesday's game for the taking, but they haven't been able to take it. Not yet. Bright, maybe now. And Sheffield United, who pride themselves on their own set pieces, have been caught by their own tricks. A straightforward goal from the corner.
Well, I think Brian Dean will be looking at himself. He allows Mark Bright to just throw behind him in that near post area, and a free header that you wouldn't expect Mark Bright to miss. Just look at that. He's pulled in behind Brian Dean. No one on the near post. It's a simple header in from Mark Bright.
Now Harks. Danny Wilson, who indulges in the shot with some justification. Whitehouse wanting the long throw. It is the last throw of the dice as well for Sheffield United. Woods comes, punches well. Mark Bright has won it for Sheffield Wednesday. Sheer joy for the blue and white side of Sheffield. All the emotion of semi-final success, topped up by the extra delight of triumph in a derby, plus the double of reaching both major cup finals in the same season. All that has come the way of Trevor Francis and his team and their followers on this extraordinary afternoon at Wembley. Wednesday's class never in doubt. The commitment to cope with United's buoyant battling approach was there in the end as well. Having taken the lead so early when Chris Waddle conducted the orchestra.
The city of Sheffield had taken over Wembley, and Wednesday were the worthy victors after 120 minutes of enthralling entertainment. In 30 years' time, people will ask, were you at Wembley for the all-Sheffield semi? After the excitement of the Cup, Wednesday returned to league action. The Owls' record had ended before 33,000 fans when Liverpool took a point at Hillsborough. The visitors took the lead, but Viv Anderson was on hand to preserve the unbeaten run at least. Injuries were again taking their toll, and a few days later at Coventry, a weakened Wednesday went down to a goal by Mickey Ginn. Then a magnificent result at Ipswich by a team full of youngsters kept the Owls in the title hunt. A welcome return here, a winning goal by David Hurst. But any lingering hopes of a championship assault came crashing down at Villa, Wednesday falling behind early in the game. The matches were coming thick and fast. Next, an ill-tempered game with Wimbledon. Mark Bright put Wednesday in front, but the match was marred by a series of clashes. John Fashanu became one of the few players ever to be sent off on a stretcher after an off-the-ball incident with Viv Anderson, spotted by the linesman. The visitors equalised in the last minute, but their aggressive and some would say unacceptable behaviour upset the fans and the home players. Another respectable display by the youngsters gained a point at Oldham. Gordon Watson is first in the league, getting the Wednesday equaliser. But then came the match that probably sealed the Premier League Championship for Manchester United. Wednesday were awarded a penalty after a clumsy Paul Ince tackle on Chris Waddle. John Sheridan duly converted, and a win for Wednesday looked very much on the cards, if they could survive a final barrage from United. Unbelievable, the winner had come 7 minutes into injury time, and for the second time in the season, Wednesday had caved into Manchester United. With the Coca-Cola final looming, Wednesday fielded a virtual reserve side against Southampton on Easter Monday. The talent on the sidelines, worth well over £10 million, would have graced any European club. But it's a funny game, and the youngsters again emphasised the spirit in the club with the Owls' best win of the season. So, a first ever hat-trick for Chris Bart-Williams. Arsenal were next. Owls fans were making their second trip to Wembley in just over a fortnight. The Waddle Wiggle had become a craze. Everyone, it seems, was saluting the Player of the Year. Well, this is a sight that the authorities rarely come face to face with, the crush to enter our national stadium. Wednesday were back at Wembley hoping to pick up the League Cup for the second time in 3 years. As the teams lined up in the tunnel, someone spotted that Trevor Francis was missing. Ah, there you are, Trevor.
Shouldn't be a shortage of goals here today. We said that before. And away we go. On by Bright towards Warhurst. Hit the post. While Warhurst holds his head. That was a real instinctive shot, and it almost caught Arsenal and Seaman out. Smacked against the post, knock on there by Bright. A volley by Warhurst. But this is a nice move developing for Arsenal. It's Morrow, and it's right on the far side. There's Parler in the middle here, but Woods safely gathering. Sheridan behind this. Waddle naturally will be behind this. Memories of that rifling free kick shot of his against Sheffield United just a fortnight ago, and Arsenal will be well aware of that. They'll hope that all is formed fairly well. In fact, it's Sheridan playing it now for King. Knocked through the middle now. Parks with the shot! And a goal for Wednesday!
Beautifully worked free kick, this one, Brian. It's something that Trevor Francis and the lads obviously have worked on the training ground. It's a super. I mean, Arsenal were well asleep. Lad Palmer on the end of the wall. But this is a tremendous finish from the American.
So 10 minutes of the game gone. Sheffield Wednesday go into the lead. John Harkes. Davis chipping that one through. Merson with a shot. It's in! Terrific goal. They've stolen the march on Arsenal here. And it was just not wide there by Mark Bright. It's a deep hit from Seaman. Campbell's after it. Oh, against the post and back into the grateful arms of Chris Woods. Wilson getting in with a strong challenge on Campbell. King playing it in to Bright. Warhurst now for Wednesday. Knocked back for Waddle. Trying to pick up Mark Bright. And he's saved by Nielsen, but Nielsen's ball in the end goes to Mercer. It's gone past Anderson. What sort of cross can he put in? Is a goal for Arsenal by Morrow. Sheridan with the long ball. Hurst has got his head down and chasing. Linnigan's in there as well. Only half cleared that time. Warhurst is in there. Tries one on the turn. Both Bright and Hurst were up on the far side of the area. The final whistle. Arsenal, the winners of the 1993 Coca-Cola Cup.
It seems incredible, but even the local derby had almost become just another game. The Owls fans paraded what's believed to be the biggest flag in the country as they hailed a hero from the past, Derek Dooley, who saluted the crowd in his testimonial year.
Let's make sure we throw him out there anyway, come on. It's not even in there, boys, see? Let's go, mate. Chance of the test. Let's come on. Come on, boys. Let's go.
usual.
By now, the closing Premier League campaign was bordering on farce. Wednesday having to play their last 5 games in 11 days. Trevor Francis naturally preferring to keep his best players fit for the cup final. Middlesbrough needed a win at Hillsborough to keep their survival hopes alive. They put on an inspired display, going 3-0 up just after half-time. John Hendry's chip, probably the pick of the 3 goals. But the Owls didn't give up, and an own goal, plus 1 from Bart Williams, put them right back in it. It looked as if Wednesday had grabbed a point when Viv Anderson put the ball away, but referee Brian Hill mysteriously disallowed it. Leeds came to Hillsborough without an away win all season, and nearly ended the run when Chapman put them ahead. But a late surge by the Owls ended in David Hurst on the comeback trail from his thigh injury, saving Wednesday's blushes in the very last minute. Fate played its part in the fixture list. The Owls paired against Arsenal of all teams in their final home league fixture of the season, just 9 days before the cup final. The club invited the Wednesday team of 66 to parade with the stars of today. But any hopes of a cup final rehearsal were dashed when both teams predictably paraded what were no more than reserve sides. Mark Bright picked up the Wednesday goal. During half-time, the directors took their places on the Kop. It was to be the last time anyone would be able to stand on the terraces. Next season, it's all-seater. On the final whistle, the bulldozers moved in. The Kop will never be the same again. After successive defeats at Blackburn and QPR, Wednesday finished a creditable 7th. The cup campaigns taking their toll in the last few weeks of the season. So, the scene was set. Another visit to Wembley, this time for the trophy that really mattered, the FA Cup.
We'll be back to Charity Shield, pal, don't worry about it. Put it to there now, for the next 3 years we'll hear about it.
I know, it's no problem, mate. Put by 8 yards, didn't get through that.
Just because he's coming here, I've been putting a nice show on him. He's not really like that, by the way. Normally he's a right player. Put it on your mantelpiece and keep the kiss away from the fire.
We'll be here in less than an hour now, I would think. You're probably wondering what sort of day it is here at Wembley. Well, it's a fairly blustery day, and it's quite cool at the moment, too. And that's the scene from our aerial camera at the moment here, and the fans waiting to come in. The gates open here in about half an hour's time. 80,000 will be in here, and the gate receipts today, 2.6 million.
We gon' celebrate and have a good time. It's time to come together. It's up to you.
do. We've got a game plan, and if we stick to it, I think we'll win.
Is it the same sort of game plan as last time?
Obviously not. We lost.
The main thing is to win the game. Unfortunately, there's so many experts in the game nowadays. Everybody knows what to do, and that's why most of them aren't managers.
This is the colourful welcome for the cup final teams that is envied all over the world. They tell us in Europe, whenever I go over there, that they just don't have a cup final like ours, never have had, and never expect to. It's a day apart in the football calendar. Let's check on Sheffield Wednesday, who also make 2 changes from the previous meeting here. Nigel Worthington is back at number 3. David Hurst is back. He's wearing 5, but of course he won't play centre-half. They've replaced Phil King and Danny Wilson. And I suppose that means number 9, Warhurst, in defence, at the start anyway. And away we go. Arsenal in the red, Sheffield Wednesday in stripes. Waddle. Worthington. Harks. And a deflection on John Hart's cross gives Sheffield Wednesday the first corner of the match. Carlton Palmer has gone near post. That was Palmer's header, and turned away by Seaman. And there's Linnigan. Oh, it was a good chance, wasn't it? This is Hurst. Now it's Palmer. Waddle's made a forward run there, and Bright's in the centre. And Waddle passes across the goal, but just that bit nearer to Seaman than it was to Bright. Now, would Chris Waddle try his luck as he did in the semi-final against Sheffield United? Similar position. And he did! Oh, fine save! And Seaman, once and for all from Waddle, exercises the ghost of the Gascoigne kick here. Tremendous tip over from Waddles. He's pleased with that. Davis to take the free kick, left-footed. Up goes Linnigan. Got up. Wright's there! Goal! Arsenal take the lead, and it's Ian Wright. Palmer goes again. John Jensen comes across. Well, it's a good run this by Palmer. Merson, Winterburn, right to his right. Here he is again. And Winterburn goes for what finally... Oh, he's got it back in. And here comes Dixon. Oh, good save. Plays it back to Harks. Anderson's up there too, so is... And in goes Hurst. Oh, and so close. Hurst again here. Oh, Seaman turns it aside. Oh, offside, Mark Bright. They're playing well now, Wednesday. Sheridan's ball in. Bright's flick on. It's going to come to John Harks. And Hurst! Goal! David Hurst equalises for Sheffield Wednesday. Trevor Francis's team right back in it. And it was a goal that had looked like coming since half-time. 62 minutes. David Hurst, John Sheridan plunks the ball in, Mark Bright gets the touch away from Linnigan, John Harks, a lovely knockback, very, very unselfish, and Hurst blasts it into the net to make it 1-1. Hurston's there, oh, and hooked over the bar by Woods from Wright. Good save. Into the 51st minute of the half, Smith, Wright. And here's Smith. And Ian Wright is over there now, and yes, he's been replaced. So, another twist then. Sheffield Wednesday have lost Anderson, Arsenal have lost Wright. Here's Smith. Oh, and here's Merson for Arsenal. He was hurried into his shot by Bart Williams. Nielsen. Good effort, and Seaman forced to turn it over. It was more or less straight by Roland Nielsen. but he felt he might have snatched a bit of glory there. And again, Nigel Worthington. Oh, Campbell got to him. Now can Dixon get in here for Arsenal? He can. Smith's in the centre. Merson's there too. It's Lee Dixon going nearly all the way and bringing a save from Chris Woods. Well, both the number twos in this last couple of minutes have threatened to win it. We are going to have a replay of this 112th FA Cup final on Thursday night at 7:30 because Arsenal and Sheffield Wednesday couldn't settle it on the day.
60-odd games in the season. It's very, very unfair on the players. And I think it's unfair on the supporters. You know, obviously I think of the Sheffield Wednesday supporters who have spent fortunes all season watching us up and down the country. And the schedule that they've been given the last 10 days, 3 home games in 5 days, is not fair on them nor on the players.
I believe that Wednesday have got quality players. Tonight, they're having a quality night.
There'll be music playing, dancers playing, and dancing in the street. They'll be singing and swaying, and breakfast playing, dancing in the street. They're dancing in Chicago, and down in
We're working. Sound, music,
light, camera,
action.
This replay is getting in the way of one or two things, really. I mean, normally, I said to the players last night, I said, normally we'd be sitting in the Navy bar in Marbella now. I said, and we've got mixed up with his cup final.
Thursday, May the 20th, and astonishingly, it's back to Wembley for Wednesday. 4 visits to the National Stadium in just 7 weeks. Surely never again will they make so many visits in such a short space of time. But now it really is decision time. By the end of the evening, they would either bring the FA Cup proudly back to Hillsborough or see it slip away.
What's in store this time? Roland Nielsen, playing his second match in 24 hours, pumps the ball forward. Tony Adams there, Waddle sliding it inside for Hurst. Now it's Waddle again. Mark Bright's in the centre, so is John Harkes. And David Seaman makes the first catch look comfortable. Now Waddle's on the left. Harkes. And Waddle with Bright making ground in the centre, and Hurst. Still Waddle. Bright comes near post. Hurst is far. Harkes says, leave it to me. Shot blocked. Worthington. Hurst. Well played. Bright's in the middle. And there's Bright. Oh, well intercepted. Linnigan got in front of him. Dixon forward. Arsenal want to make them turn. It's Ian Wright. And the message had gone out from the bench that they wanted the ball played over the top, and it was, and Ian Wright was nearly in. Davis to Smith. Oh, look at Merson, he's free. It's Merson for Arsenal, a great chance. Beat Palmer and put it straight at the goalkeeper. Warhurst. Bright with Linnigan. Oh, he's got one in the face. Now the Arsenal players are claiming elbows. Dixon's not getting the ball in though. And he's out of position now. It's John Harkes. Hurst and Bright in the centre, being joined by Waddle. And by Sheridan. Bright, Waddle. playing much more on the right tonight. Takes on Winterburn. Oh, now he's gone down, claiming he's got one in the face. Referees took one look and said play on. It's Winterburn looking for right. Waddle still picking himself up. There goes Merson and Smith. Away by Palmer, and Waddle holds his face. Free kick to Wednesday. Bright and Adams again. Winterburn. Nilsson. Hurst in the middle, so is Harks. This is Waddle. Harks! Oh, just a touch. Would have probably sent it in. Smith for right. He's through here. It's right for Arsenal. And it's a goal for Arsenal. Bright jumping with Linnigan. Here's Hurst. This is Harks. Good ball in. Bright. Not quite. Waddle, is it? It's in. Waddle. Got a shot in there. It may have caught a defender, but it's gone in. And Wednesday are level. Chris Waddle finding space on the left. Has changed the course of the cup final. 69 minutes, Harks cross, half away by Linnigan. It came off Lee Dixon, in fact. Waddle shoots, it may have caught Dixon. It goes past Seaman, it's 1-1 again. And Sheridan lofts it up towards David Hurst. It's going to come loose, is that Bright, is it? Yes! Oh, so close for Mark Bright. Good chance for Campbell, it's Merson! Wood saw the ball slip from his grasp, he turned round, and it was still there. Hurst is coming in. Bowing on here, Hurst. Side netting. Waddle. Bright goes in. Oh, in with him. Went Adams. Is there time yet? A minute gone at the end of extra time. Added on for stoppages. Merson to take it.
There's probably no sadder feeling in football than losing an FA Cup final. The very fact that the Owls came so close made the defeat even harder to bear. But Wednesday can look back on this season with pride. Not just the players, but the staff, the management, and above all, the loyal fans. In terms of commitment and passion, they dug deepest of all.
If it's Wednesday, it must be Wembley.
What's in effect? Come on.
You think in the view down south, I wag the tail, you're the horse's mouth. Read the papers, believe the hype, the truth unfolding with the stars and stripes. Grass is greener on the northern side, the way is clearer with the changing tide. Hearts go out to the hearts that gave, fortune favors the green blue wave. Monday, Tuesday, it's our fun day. Wednesday, the day is clear. Just 2 years since we've been here. If half the city dreams in blue, then half of us belong to you. The path is long and the way is wide. A bark of friends are side by side.
If it's Wednesday, it must be Wembley.
Make me sing. Sheridan, Pearson, Harks and Hyde, Wilson, Watson on your side. Fulton, Palmer, Anderson, Hurst. There's only one place and that place is first. About now, Jefferson, Bride, bust a move and hold on tight.
Romeo,